Lubbock is on the high plains, and Lubbock is a dry place. There is no flowing river here. Its only aquifer where it gets all of its water is being quickly depleted. For that reason, in April of 2022, I organized a conference called Water on the Llano Estacado. The conference was over a 3-day period. We had legal scholars, we had historians, we had literature people, we had gardeners, we had some amazing water engineers and just scientists at this conference. We found out about an amazing process of this small creature called cyanobacteria, which was able to flow upward in plants, and because of that, not just plant diversity, but all life as we know it today came into being.
But then you get your cyanobacteria, then they proliferated, and the atmosphere began to more precipitously shift to the atmosphere that we evolved in.
The sciences, for that matter, academia in generally is very siloed.
And I love it because it was very interdisciplinary. We have people from different disciplines in the humanities, in the social sciences, in the natural sciences.
There were people who wanted to bring attention to a growing problem. The people who were interested in this location, and that's what I noticed, is many of them were really invested in understanding this region from multiple perspectives, geological, environmental.
One specific example was the work of Carol Fluckinger, who does what's called cyano art. It's that same word, cyano, that blue color, which is used to define that bacteria. She does what's called cyano art. What is that? It's basically using the sun to pull out a blue color on a canvas.
So there's a beautiful metaphor between organizing a composition within the art classroom and thinking about how that activity can be a metaphor for thinking about natural resources and how we move through the world and how we care for things that we've been overlooking. We've been overlooking our water. It's become a background issue. And in art, the background is as important as the foreground. It's as important as the subject.
When I did this conference, I dedicated it to a woman who had been to the conference that I had organized the year before. Juanita Pataponi came to the conference and read from her poetry collection. Juanita Pataponi often told me that her name means how deep is the water. That kind of question was not just literal for me, but it was profound, and I'm being intentionally making a pun, but in a very serious way. This conference helped me walk away with a more profound appreciation of water.
I'm driving Margo out. We're going to meet him at 11. At whatever time you're meeting, I want to be there.
We've set them 11.
Perfect. I'll meet you there. You guys want to go see the other half of the art, the other tab, tomorrow at 11.
She's right, and what's kind of profound about this drip, the sound of it, the visual of it, it is uncomfortable because we're West Texans in the middle of a sand pit out here, and it's painful to watch. If I'm going to grow one section of cotton, the amount of water required to get that cotton to maturity is going to require 312,816,960 gallons of water to produce that one cotton crop. I didn't realize this was a thing until I started talking with my dad and my grandfather. But apparently every farmer who drills a well does this thing. They stand by their well, and they prop up their leg, and water's gushing out. We did the same thing, and I wasn't prepared for it. I stood there next to my father, to my grandfather, and then to my dad's uncle, Uncle Wayne, and we took a picture. Uncle Wayne died this year, and at his eulogy, his son, my dad's cousin, talked, and I couldn't believe it, but he talked about the Ogallala Aquifer. And he said it was the purest thing that you could drink. And he said when Uncle Wayne, when his dad was on his deathbed, his last couple of moments, he just said, "I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty," and he just kept repeating it. And so Blake went and got him a glass of water, and the last thing he did was sip Ogallala.
The artists at this conference made it so important. And I think they will help as we move toward creating the education of this vision that we have. The conference did not end in April of 2022. I plan on continuing to work on this and making the vision again be created, communicated, and form part of an experience for kids who are from kindergarten to 8th grade, and to see not just that they have a fun experience, but they walk away feeling inspired and feeling that they are the people who will figure out where we can get water from when there is no water left. One of the most amazing things about Lubbock is something called the Jim Bertram Lake System. When I organized this conference, I called up Jim. I didn't think Jim was still alive. Jim was still alive. He's 80 years old. He lives in Ransom Canyon. That was where we went to on the first day of the conference, and we walked there, and we argued and we talked. And Jim, in the 1970s, looked at where everybody was throwing their junk, all their metal scraps and contamination, and it was the canyons. He got rid of that. He created a beautiful lake system in the city. And where did he get the water from? He got it from wastewater that was just polluting another part of the city. The water now flows through the city in one of the longest urban lake systems in the country, and by the time you get to the end of the lake system, it cleans itself out. After the conference, I was walking in one of my favorite parts along the lake system, and believe it or not, there was a fish biologist with his class there looking at the fish at the end of the lake system that were in Jim Bertram's lake system. I see kids coming away inspired to do things like Jim Bertram did, which was find water where water doesn't exist. Create clean water where it's now contaminated. And just enjoying and understanding water's enormous value.